Coming up, the PM says locked down in number 10, but the Prime Minister says he's hard at work on the vaccine rollout.
The Lunchtime News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good afternoon. Boris Johnson says he is still hopeful the COVID vaccine rollout can begin before Christmas, despite the fact that he is beginning 2 weeks of self-isolation himself in Downing Street. The Prime Minister held a meeting on Thursday with an MP who was later diagnosed with coronavirus. Well, this lunchtime, it was announced that another new jab by US firm Moderna has been shown to be nearly 95% effective. Unfortunately, it's not one on the government's order book. Shihab Khan reports on the challenges facing an isolated Prime Minister. As we heard in Shihab's report, their results from trials for a vaccine being developed by the company Moderna showed it was nearly 95% effective. Meanwhile, final stage trials begin here today for another new coronavirus vaccine, with scientists looking for 6,000 volunteers across the UK. Well, Rachel Younger joins us now. Rachel, what are the details of this new vaccine then?
Well, the second one you mentioned, the one with common cold virus to train the body's immune system to fight off COVID. Now, we know 30,000 people in America. The reason why that's so significant is because that... And, of course, we do need to be cautious. These are...
Rachel, thank you. Former US President Barack Obama says the country faces a tough battle to reverse division and what he calls truth decay. Now, Elon Musk's SpaceX has successfully launched 4 astronauts to the International Space Station from Florida. Now, spending time playing video games can actually be good for your mental health, according to a new study by Oxford University. Small but significant increase in people's well-being. Well, joining me to discuss this further. Now, British racing star Lewis Hamilton made history yesterday as the most successful F1 driver ever, equalling Michael Schumacher's achievement of 7 world titles, having already beaten the German driver's record for individual race wins. A short time ago, I spoke to another British racing icon, Sir Jackie Stewart, and I started by asking him about the amazing scenes in Turkey yesterday, and is Lewis Hamilton now the greatest ever Formula One champion? You could see yesterday he was just visibly on so much for diversity in the sport as well. And we know that that's really important to Lewis Hamilton. And he says, you know, we need to get more people from diverse backgrounds into the sport. Finally, should it not now be Sir Lewis Hamilton? Train services have been cancelled and roads closed after a large fire broke out near the centre of Bradford early this morning. Smoke. And finally, when 10-year-old Charlie Christensen became the target of bullies over his love of West End shows, his music teacher put out the call on social media for help cheering him up. But the response was amazing, with messages of support from some of show business's biggest stars. Well, now to mark the start of Anti-Bullying Week, Charlie has teamed up with some of his heroes to send a message of hope for anyone feeling low. As you heard, Faye Barker talking to Charlie there, and that is it. I'm back with the ITV Evening News at 6:30. The news where you are follows the national weather, but for now, from everyone here on the Lunchtime team, bye-bye. Hello again. Now the main stories in London. The Grenfell inquiry continued to hear from Celotex this morning, the company who made the tower's flammable insulation. Thousands of prints stolen before they could be delivered have been returned. A 9-year-old girl who dreams of playing football for West Ham women was disappointed her favourite team weren't included in the new FIFA game, so she decided to do something about it. Well, EA Sports have told us they are grateful to Smile wrote to them and welcome conversations with the world's top women's leagues about how to accelerate their inclusion in the game. Weather now, here's Sally. Well, Duncan will be talking to him at 6, and of course I'll have the rest of the day's news, but from me for now, bye-bye. New hope in the global race for a vaccine as Britain rushes to secure access to a new frontrunner. It's unlikely to be available for us here until April, so are other vaccines still a better bet, and are GPs ready for the rollout? Also tonight.
News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good evening. As a second coronavirus vaccine was hailed as a success, GPs have warned they are not prepared for a mass vaccination programme. US firm Moderna says preliminary trials show its vaccine is almost 95% effective. But the British government hasn't pre-ordered any, although it has now booked 5 million doses for next spring. Well, family doctors say they are still waiting for details on how they are supposed to deliver any of the vaccines and what services they'll have to cut as a result. Here's our health editor, Emily Morgan. So, Emily, the government has just announced it's ordered 5 million doses of this vaccine, but why so few when they've ordered far more of others?
An order in with doses since the summer, but they only sealed that deal today. So I think you can make...
The ever-present risk of coronavirus has been underlined by several Conservative MPs being forced to join the Prime Minister in self-isolating. It follows a breakfast meeting they attended in Downing Street on Thursday. Well, it's overshadowed what was supposed to be a week showing Boris Johnson has a grip of government. Here's our political correspondent, Romilly Weeks. Well, our political editor, Robert Peston, is in Downing. Well, Scotland's First Minister says tougher restrictions may be needed now so they can be relaxed before Christmas. Former US President Barack Obama has lamented that his country faces a tough battle to end division and undo what he called truth decay. He called for President Trump to accept he's lost to Joe Biden and that his time is up. But despite all evidence to the contrary, Mr. Trump is still insisting he won. Here's our Washington correspondent, Robert Moore. Still to come on the ITV Evening News. First, to a real-life hero, and a British diplomat has been praised for saving the life of a drowning woman in China. Stephen Ellison dived into a deep river to help a student who'd fallen into the water. Well, Stephen's elderly mum told ITV News she is very proud of him. Ben Chapman has the story. Now, if your children love computer games, you may not want them to hear our next story. Scientists have found playing them can be good for people's well-being, even those who do it for long periods of time. Well, campaigners, though, warn that some people can become addicted. Here's our consumer editor, Chris Choi, on the game-changing study. There have been hours of delays for commuters in Yorkshire after a fire broke out near the centre of Bradford in the early hours of this morning. Dozens of Hollywood stars Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are to be the new fairy tale owners of Wrexham Football Club. Fans voted overwhelmingly in favour of the pair taking 100% control of the National League side. They promised to win, win, win. Damon Green on the unlikely storyline. From Hollywood stars to space now, and the private hire taxi service with a difference. Oh, just brilliant. And that is all for now. Charlene White will be here with News at 10. But from me and all the evening news team, have a great evening. Bye-bye.